There's a truth about people who speak less that you probably don't know. They see the world differently. Today, I'll tell you how, if there are 10 people sitting in a room, 9 are constantly talking, giving their opinions and laughing, but that 10th person is silent, just listening. When they leave the room, they have the most information and the deepest understanding of everyone. This is the paradox of silence. Those who speak less know more. Let me tell you a story. During my college days, there was a boy named Ethan in my batch. He spoke maybe 10 sentences a day. He sat at the back of the class and was alone during lunch breaks. People thought he was boring. He lacked confidence. He was very social, but during campus placements in his final year, the biggest company selected him. In the interview they said, "Your observation skills are extraordinary. You know how to read people. There's a depth in your answers that we haven't seen in anyone else." That day, I realized that silence isn't a weakness, it's a superpower. People who speak less are observers. When you're speaking, your mind is busy thinking of the next word, proving your point, creating an impression. But when you're silent, your entire mind is free to observe, to analyze, to understand. A quiet person notices how someone's eyes shift while talking, how someone touches their hair when nervous, how there's hidden pain in someone's voice. These are all things that talkers miss because they're preoccupied with their performance. Psychology says the human brain has 2 modes: the default mode network when you're doing nothing, the task-positive network when you're actively doing something. People who speak less spend most of their time in default mode, and this mode is the home of creativity, of self-reflection, of deep thinking. Thomas Edison said, "The monotony and solitude of an acquired life stimulate the creative mind. The power of silence can never be found in noise. When you are silent, you meet yourself, your true thoughts, your true feelings. And this is why quiet people are often more self-aware. Every human being has limited energy, social energy, mental energy, and emotional energy. People who talk all day scatter their energy on every little thing, every small conversation. But quiet people conserve their energy, and when they do speak, it makes an impact. A quiet person's words carry weight because they are selective. They speak only when necessary. This is why it's often seen in meetings. When a quiet person finally speaks, the entire room listens because everyone knows they don't speak without thinking. But what does society think? People who speak less are shy. They lack confidence. They're boring. These are all myths. Shyness and quietness are 2 different things. Shy people want to speak, but are afraid. Quiet people can speak, but choose not to. This is choice, conscious choice. Elon Musk is quiet, Jeff Bezos is quiet, Steve Jobs is quiet. Do they lack confidence? No, they possess the power of selective communication. Research shows that the average person listens only 25% of what is being said. The remaining 75% of the time, they're thinking about their reply. But quiet people listen 90% of the time. Listening isn't just about hearing words, it's about grasping emotions, understanding hidden meanings, reading body language, seeing the messages hidden in silence. When you truly listen, people tell you their secrets, they share their feelings, they give you their trust. Because in a world where everyone wants to speak, finding a good listener is rare. Quiet people have a unique quality. Depth. They don't live on the surface level. Small talk bores them. How's the weather today? These conversations seem meaningless to them. They want deep conversations about the meaning of life, about dreams, about fears, about philosophy. And when they connect with someone, the connection is deep, authentic, long-lasting, and they have fewer friends. But those who are, they are real. The most creative people in history were often quiet. Vincent Harris was a solitary painter. Sarah Collins wrote Harry Potter in quiet cafe corners. Daniel Reed, co-founder of Apple, was an extreme introvert. Why? Because creativity requires solitude, space, and silence. You're constantly social, your mind is filled with other people's thoughts, other people's opinions, other people's judgments. But when you're quiet, you can hear your original voice, develop your unique ideas, and express your authentic self. An interesting thing, powerful people often speak less. Why? Because when you speak less, people listen more. When you're selective in your words, every word has impact. Think about it. A boss who talks constantly, just a boss who only says what's necessary, whose words carry more weight. Silence creates mystery. Mystery creates intrigue. Intrigue creates respect. When people don't know what you're thinking, they take you more seriously. Quiet people often have a higher EQ, emotional effort. Why? Because when you speak less, you feel more. You notice when someone is upset but smiling, when someone needs help but isn't asking, when the mood of the room is shifting. This sensitivity, this awareness, comes from quiet observation, and that's why quiet people often make better friends, partners, and leaders. Because they understand without being told. People who speak less have a richer inner world. They can get lost in their thoughts. They can travel in imagination. They can wander in their mind palace. Now, let me tell you a secret. Many loud, extroverted people actually want to be quiet inside. They're tired of constantly performing, of always being on, of always entertaining, but they're trapped in their image, their reputation, people's expectations. And on the other hand, many quiet people are perfectly happy in their silence, in their peace, in their depth. So the question is, who is more free? I used to talk a lot. I wanted to dominate every conversation. I wanted to make my presence felt everywhere. I always wanted to be the center of attention. Then one day, I consciously decided to spend an entire day just listening and speaking minimally. And that day, I discovered how much people want to say, how much they want to share. They just can't find anyone to listen. After that day, I became selective when to speak, how much to speak, why to speak, and my life changed. So if you're one of those people who speaks less, don't change. Your quietness is your strength, your observation is your weapon, your depth is your treasure. And if you're one of those people who talks too much, try it. Speak a little less, listen a little more. You'll be amazed at how much you've been missing. Remember, empty vessels make the most noise, but depots run silent. The ocean doesn't make a noise, but its depth, its power, its mystery, all of that lies in its silence. So the next time you meet a quiet person, don't assume they're boring, don't assume they're weak, don't assume they have nothing to say. Maybe they see everything, understand everything, feel everything. They just don't feel the need to speak. Because sometimes silence is the most powerful statement.